If you turn on primetime television in India today, you are not watching the news. You are watching a high decibel, multi-crore theatrical production. Media was once called the fourth estate, a vital pillar of democracy meant to question the powerful, expose corruption, and speak for the citizen. But over the last decade, a seismic shift has occurred. Information has been replaced by infotainment. Journalism has been replaced by propaganda. In this video, we will pull back the curtain on the Indian media machinery. We will explore the corporate ownership structures, the psychological tactics of primetime debates, the manufacturing of internal enemies, and the high price ordinary citizens pay when the truth is bought out. Section 2. The business model of bias. To understand why the news is broken, you must first understand who pays for it. Journalism is expensive, but independent journalism is nearly impossible under the current economic model. Indian mainstream media relies primarily on two sources of revenue: corporate advertisers and government advertisements. When a news channel depends on government contracts to keep its lights on, biting the hand that feeds it becomes a financial suicide mission. This structural dependency creates an invisible boundary. Outlets that toe the official line are rewarded with massive ad revenues. Those that investigate or criticize find their funding choked, their licenses delayed, or their tax records investigated. Furthermore, the concentration of media ownership in the hands of a few massive corporate conglomerates means that the corporate interest and the political interest become fundamentally aligned. The news stops reflecting public reality and starts shaping public perception to protect these elite interests. Section 3. The anatomy of propaganda tactics. Propaganda in Indian media is rarely subtle. It relies on a highly sophisticated set of psychological and structural tactics designed to manipulate public emotion rather than inform the intellect. Let's break down the three main strategies used every single night. Tactic 1. The manufactured distraction. When real socioeconomic indicators are grim, the media's primary job shifts from reporting to distraction. Instead of questioning why infrastructure is failing or why unemployment is rising, the narrative is aggressively redirected. A minor statement by a fringe political figure or a celebrity scandal is amplified into a national crisis for weeks on end. Tactic 2. Othering and the internal enemy propaganda requires an enemy to unite against. Mainstream media frequently weaponizes social, religious, and political fault lines. Student protesters, human rights activists, farmers demanding rights, and minority communities are systematically painted as internal threats to national security. By framing every domestic disagreement as a battle between patriots and traitors, nuance is completely destroyed. Tactic 3. The weaponized studio debate. The primetime debate is not a forum for discussion. It is a gladiatorial arena. Anchors abandon the role of neutral moderators. They actively mock dissenters, mute the microphones of guests who present contradictory data, and use loaded leading questions to validate a predetermined conclusion. Section 4. The digital echo chamber and WhatsApp University. The propaganda ecosystem does not end when you turn off the television. In fact, that is only where it begins. Television networks act as the validation engine for a much larger, darker network of digital misinformation. What is broadcast on prime time is instantly clipped, manipulated, and distributed through coordinated political IT cells into millions of family WhatsApp groups. Fake news, doctored videos, and communal hate speech are given an aura of legitimacy because a mainstream news anchor reported them first. By the time a fact checker debunks the claim, the lie has already traveled across the country, altering public consciousness permanently. Section 5. The cost to the citizen and the resistance. When a society's media stops functioning, the cost is not paid by the politicians or the media barons. It is paid by the ordinary citizen. When the media cheers for the powerful instead of demanding answers, accountability vanishes. Public funds disappear, policies are passed without scrutiny, and real human suffering is rendered entirely invisible. But the story does not end in despair. As mainstream television news hollows itself out, a quiet rebellion is taking place. Independent journalists, digital startups, and regional reporters are bypassing corporate gatekeepers. Relying entirely on citizen subscriptions and crowdfunding, they are going back to the basics of journalism, hitting the ground, verifying facts, and asking the hard questions. Section 6. Conclusion. Propaganda only works as long as we consume it. Every click, every view, and every minute spent watching manufactured outrage feeds the financial engine of these networks. Democracy cannot survive without an informed electorate, and an informed electorate cannot survive on a diet of curated lies. The next time you turn on the news, ask yourself, are you being informed or are you being conditioned? The power to break the machinery is quite literally in your hands. Turn off the noise. Seek out the truth.